Tonight's episode of America's Hometown Horror is brought to you by our friends at Fangoria magazine. That's right, the first name in Fright since 1979 is now an affiliate of America's Hometown Horror. And because of that, we can now offer you an exclusive 20% discount on any first-time magazine subscription or merchandise purchase by heading over to shop.fangoria.com and using the code HometownHorrorPod at checkout. That's shop.fangoria.com/HometownHorrorPod, or just use the code HometownHorrorPod at checkout for that exclusive discount on anything from Fangoria. Tonight's episode of America's Hometown Horror is also brought to you by our friends at Horror Facts Magazine. Never heard of Horror Facts Magazine? Well, if you're a horror fan, they're a name that you absolutely should know. You can find them over at horrorfacts.com, and they're a great resource for all things horror, including news, reviews, editorials, and lots of other horror podcasts, not only limited to, but including America's Hometown Horror. So head on over to horrorfacts.com and check them out. Now, let's get on with the show. All right, good evening, and welcome into another episode of America's Hometown Horror. Thanks so much for checking back in with us. We certainly appreciate it. My name is Mike, and I'll be one of your hosts as we delve into this haunted rhyme for bedtime tonight, but more on that in just a little bit. Here's where you can find us online. If you're interested, first place is our website, which is ahpod.com. Head over there for our blog and more information about the show. You can also find us on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Just search for America's Hometown Horror, and you'll find us. You can also email us at hometownhorrorpodcast@gmail.com. And more importantly, you can leave us a voicemail at 508-927-1267. That's 508-927-1267. And, of course, the most important thing you can do for our show is give us a like or a subscribe and leave us a review if you haven't already. It helps us grow, helps us get out there to more people. So feel free to leave us a review, hopefully a 5-star review if you think we do a 5-star job. And thanks, as always, to our friend Shaun O'Loughlin from Skywheel Media, who's now handling all of our audio and music production and doing a damn fine job, if I do say myself. And if you have a podcast that you're looking to take to the next level in terms of audio production, get in touch with us. We'll put you in touch with Shauno and Skywheel Media. One final reminder before we get into tonight's festivities that Matt, Andrew, and I will be hosting Halfway to Halloween horror movie trivia on Thursday, May 2nd at Mayflower Brewing Company. I believe it's going to be from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., doing all sorts of fun trivia, doing some fun giveaways, and most importantly, making a huge announcement about the Haunts and Hops Horror Convention for 2024. You can expect to hear who our headlining guest will be. So we hope to see you there. All right, now that that stuff's out of the way, I am joined live in studio, in stereo. Everybody's here tonight, aside from Kat, who's still on her break. Matthew, Andrew, good to have you all here.
Hello.
I know, it's wild. I'm excited. This is fun.
I know.
Glad to be in person.
Our basement, my basement / our podcast studio feels a little bit less empty tonight, and that makes my heart warm and very
my
happy.
cockles hard as a rock.
Cockles toasty and ready to rock and roll and talk about this insane fucking movie that we're going to get into here tonight. So what's been new with everybody? How we doing? Good?
Busy.
It's like a blur. It's just a blur. Everything goes by.
Yep.
Fast.
Each day better than the next.
Life is fleeting.
Yes, life is fleeting indeed. But always a good, highlight of our week when we can sit here and talk some horror amongst each other and with you listeners. So, guys, you want to hit a couple of news items real quick before we talk about tonight's film?
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. So, as of this recording, you can now see in theaters Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire, which apparently a lot of people have already done. Made a massive $194 million opening weekend.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
I killed it.
This is the
Fans love that movie.
People are stoked on Godzilla. And
People just love Godzilla.
Like, oh, Godzilla.
Godzilla, indeed. So I still really want to see Godzilla -1, and haven't had the opportunity. It's still not
Who knows
streaming.
when you're It's because of this fucking Godzilla movies. They're not allowing them to stream it. Because it would be stepping on toes.
I think it's supposed to get a physical release.
It will. May.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I think it's May. Well, May in Japan. They're going to have physical release.
Well, that doesn't mean I can't fucking get it.
You still get it.
Yeah.
It's the war.
But I think I'm literally think that the reason why this is delayed is because they had like some sort of agreement, like we're not going to step on each other's toes. Like, because I mean, it benefits both of the movies.
Yeah.
Godzilla signed a contract.
Yeah, right.
Godzilla was like, "Don't worry, I'm with the humans on this one."
Yeah. So anyway, this is the 5th film in the MonsterVerse, another shared universe, one of Andrew's favorite things in the world. And certainly seems like they're going to keep making more of these movies if it's making almost $200 million in its opening weekend. So I'm sure
it's like a good popcorn movie.
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't want to see giant radioactive dinosaur and gigantic ape beat the shit out of each other and other big monsters? It sounds like a lot of fun. I definitely want to see it, but I'm probably not going to get a chance to see it in theaters.
Again, though, I feel like this is one of those movies that's probably way better in theaters than.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
So see it on your TV and you'll be like, "Meh."
Yeah,
CGI.
I have to really, really plan to be able to see something in theaters. I have to really want to see it, which is obviously why we did get to go see Late Night with the Devil.
I know. I wanted to try and sneak away to see Immaculate, but I think I already missed my shot.
Yeah,
dude, that's
probably going to be
Blood and Honey
soon.
too. That's not even.
So Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2 is already gone.
I thought that was
from theaters
like-
because Kat and Andrew were trying to find a showing to go see it, and there ain't none.
That had to have just been a limited release.
Yeah,
must have.
Yeah.
Got decent reviews. Decent for considering what it is.
I mean, it was at one point 100% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, but again, that's not the be all end all, and it is definitely getting more positive reviews than the first one. It seems like they're improving as they go, and they've already announced the third one. A trailer dropped a couple days ago for fucking Revenge of Bambi or whatever the fuck it's called, Bambi the Reckoning or something like that. And they got the Pooniverse movie coming out with all those little the Pooniverse. So yeah. Anyway, Godzilla X Kong. I don't know what Godzilla times Kong, A New Empire. I don't know what that really is supposed to mean, but it should just be like Godzilla and Kong, A New Empire.
I feel like it's Godzilla versus Kong.
Godzilla versus Kong versus Diddy.
Yeah, versus Diddy.
Well, Diddy wins.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Diddy diddles.
God,
Diddy diddles.
What a crazy story that
Who
is.
didn't Diddy
But
diddle?
anyway, yeah, who didn't
Diddy diddle didn't diddle. Who did
How many
Diddy diddle?
dudes could Diddy diddle if Diddy did diddle dudes?
Oh my
That's
God.
pretty good. I like that.
Oh,
I
God.
saw that one the other day.
Yeah.
and it
Oh,
cracked
that's
me
pretty,
up.
okay.
pretty,
I was like,
pretty goddamn good, gotta say. All right, so on the opposite end of the film spectrum from Godzilla X Kong, we have a little film called Cuckoo, which I know that we are Cuckoo. We're all pretty excited for, and we got a first, I think, look at a teaser trailer for this movie.
Well, it was a pretty big trailer. It was like a 2-minute trailer.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
so
it
it
was
wasn't a teaser
long,
trailer;
yeah.
it was a big one. So you guys both watched it. I did
Yep.
not. I probably will give it a watch at some point. I just don't know that I want this movie spoiled for me because I feel like I know almost nothing about
it
it.
doesn't really.
It didn't spoil. I'm very confused by what's going on.
It
but
looks batshit fucking crazy.
insane, but
Yeah.
it doesn't really give that much away.
Yep.
It just makes you go, "Oh, this movie's fucked."
Yeah. So one of the it looks like the first of a few different bangers from Neon.
Yeah, they
coming this
came
year.
out. They came out swinging this year.
Yep. Oh, speaking of which, Long Legs and Cuckoo were both featured. Got full page ads in this latest edition of Fangoria. Have you had a chance to delve into yours yet?
Yes,
I
I read both of the articles on it.
Yeah, so I made it about
And the coffee
halfway
table.
through. Yeah, it's a pretty good one. There's some good stuff. I read the interview with Don Mancini and Devin Sawa about Chucky and a few other things. I saw there's an article in there about Rebecca and Elric from Colors of the Dark and how they do their
trivia
horror
night?
trivia. Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually I haven't gotten to that one yet, but I definitely want to check that out because I know that their trivia event out in LA is pretty popular. So who knows? Maybe our trivia event can be that popular someday. But
That coffee table movie was in it too, and I read that, and I was like,
I did read that,
This is
too.
going to be. I think it's a little harsher of a movie than I was anticipating.
It's a coffee table book
about coffee tables. It's a horror movie about coffee tables and something horrible happening on said coffee table. Don't know what that
I
is.
think it happens to a baby.
Yeah, so
Yikes.
but anyway, Cuckoo will arrive in theaters nationwide on August 9th, and can't wait to see that.
August 9th. I thought that was May 9th.
According to this
Cuckoo
article
is
in front of me
August.
here from Bloody
Long Legs,
Disgusting.
I think, comes out in May.
Yeah, actually, so maybe Long Legs is first, but Cuckoo's coming August 9th, 2024.
Oh, I thought it was
So,
May. Fuck.
Yep. Did have a premiere at South by Southwest a couple weeks ago and seemed to get pretty solid reviews. So anyway, that's Cuckoo. Next topic, guys. Were we fans of Ready or Not, directed by Radio Silence, the directing group? It was the one with Samara Weaving.
I don't think I actually
Essentially-
ever watched that.
It's really good, actually. Yeah.
I think I've only seen it one time, and I think I was kind of like half of the bag.
Yep.
When I watched it.
So it seemed like a tired to death type of setup, but the way that they did it was actually very good.
Oh.
And the ending was really cool too. But yeah, Samara Weaving was very good in it as like the final girl.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely like one of those like Eat the Rich horror movies.
It's like a home invasion.
Yeah, it's like a home invasion type thing where Samara Weaving is marrying into this super rich family, and they came into their fortune by founding this like board game company. So whenever someone is getting, is joining the family through marriage or whatever, they have a game night and they randomly play this game, and the game that gets selected is hide and seek. And essentially, it turns out they all end up trying to, kill each other. And,
I gotta say, if someone gets very rich off of a board game, props to them.
Well, I think they're supposed to be like they founded like almost like Milton Bradley or like
they are Milton Bradley,
Hasbro,
the Monopoly Man, and
yeah. So anyway, they're talking about potentially doing a sequel to that movie, which I mean,
that movie came out in like what 2017,
2019. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, I would probably watch this. The first one was good enough. I don't think Radio Silence is returning to direct. So they're working on that movie Abigail, which also has a big feature in Fangoria, and that's actually coming out in a few short weeks. I'll probably check that out because it's a Universal Monsters movie based on Dracula's daughter.
Oh, is that what that is about?
Dracula's daughter.
Yeah, so we'll see if Drac himself actually shows up. But I don't know, Ready or Not 2? Hey, who knows? Maybe we'll get it. Maybe we'll see it. Maybe we'll talk about it further at some point. All right, next topic. Last two topics, I should say. Speaking of Universal Monsters, so we got Abigail coming out, like I mentioned, in a few short weeks here. Turns out that the just recently the Wolfman movie being directed by Leigh Whannell that was supposed to be starring Ryan Gosling and is now no longer starring Ryan Gosling. Started filming a couple short weeks ago, aiming for an October release this year, which apparently was a little bit too ambitious. That has now been pushed back to 2025, which is a little disappointing. I was hoping to catch that movie this year. But anyway, that's okay. As long as it's good, I don't really care what the fuck happens to it. And one other final note. I don't know if you guys saw this or not. I don't know if you guys feverishly pore over Bloody Disgusting every day like I do for news tidbits. Apparently, Maggie Gyllenhaal is directing
I did see that
remake of The Bride of Frankenstein.
Dracula and Frankenstein.
Dracula and Frankenstein.
There's Franking for oil.
Franking for oil. So it's just going to be called The Bride! ! It is starring Christian Bale as Frankenstein's monster and Jessie Buckley as the titular bride. I'm reading that directly. I swear to God, I feel like I've been saying that word so much.
You say titular all the time.
Movie's also starring Penelope Cruz, Peter Sarsgaard, and Annette Bening. And we get a look at Christian Bale as Frankenstein. Did you guys see this?
Yeah, it's interesting.
So it kind of looks like he's
Jared
almost
Leto's
like
Joker.
the Joker. It's kind of really weird. Did you see this yet? No?
I did see that.
Yeah.
It looks like he got some stitches on his
forehead. Yeah, some
there.
stitches and some tattoos. I mean, Christian Bale's pretty awesome, so I'm sure he'll probably put in a good job. And then
Christian Bale's an asshole, though.
He is, but he's an eccentric actor. So he kind of, I guess he gets away with it. There's also released a picture of Jessie Buckley as the bride. She, kind of looks cool, I guess. So we'll see what happens there. But I'm
I didn't see that.
happy to see some stuff happening with the Universal Monsters, because I know Universal's been trying to reboot those stories for quite a long time and have had varying to not so varying levels of success with these movies, especially with that Tom Cruise mummy movie that bombed all over the place.
Most Universal monster movies suck.
Yeah, it was a dog shit pie.
Yeah. I mean, the Invisible Man that came
Can we talk about
Can
we talk about the biggest piece of news, Mike, that I don't know how you're missing?
Sure.
The 25th release, like re-release in theaters.
Oh, yes, that's right.
The Mummy.
Yeah, that's 25 years since that movie came out. That that tracks.
I will 100% go see that.
I would go see it in theaters again. I did see it on opening night. We
just to watch you blow a load in your pants.
It would be awesome to see on a big screen. That would be really cool.
I just want to watch you.
You've seen it on a big screen.
Well, I saw it on a big screen when I was in 8th grade when it came out. So I would see it again. 25 years later.
I would go. If we're gonna go, we should go.
Yeah, I think.
And then next year would be what, the 50th anniversary of Jaws?
I believe that's right. Yeah.
And if that's gonna
50th anniversary of Texas Chainsaw Massacre this year.
Shit.
Wow.
Fuck.
Yeah, I've definitely been kind of paying attention to more of those re-releases just to be able to see some old movies in theaters.
Alien
Dawn of the Dead's gonna be in
Jaws
theaters this year. The original Dawn of the Dead.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's another one I would definitely check out. I mean,
it's not a special anniversary. It came out in '78.
Okay.
Also, little R.I.P. to my boy Tommy from Phantasm.
Yes, that's right.
He died recently, and it's funny because I just watched Phantasm the night that he died. I didn't even know he had died, and I was watching it. I was like, it was almost like it was meant to be.
Yeah.
For me to watch.
So you watch it like once a week.
No, I don't do that. It's like months. It's like once. It's a yearly.
As
watch.
his soul was ascending to heaven, he winked down on you in Plymouth watching his movie.
He was like, this guy's
all right.
laying in bed naked, watching me on TV and fucking sick. Eating gummy bears.
Full talk.
He's just spriting gummy bears.
Fully
just
talked.
hanging out. What up?
You love Sprite, my friend. You love Sprite so much.
Crisp.
Nice crisp Sprite. McDonald's Sprite.
I love Sprite. That's my go-to.
Sprite is good stuff. Sprite is
McDonald's Sprite will get make your fucking nipples hard.
Yeah, McDonald's Sprite.
It's a tough
hard.
game to play between you. You pick Coke or High C Orange or Sprite from McDonald's.
Or all three.
Oh, yeah. You can mix and match, huh?
Poop your
No.
pants.
I don't know if you mix Coke with it. Coke is
Yeah, I'm a McDonald's Coke guy through and through.
the High C Orange is clutch.
If you're in the throes of a fucking brain-crippling hangover, McDonald's Coke will bring you
It is
out
very
of it.
good. I prefer if I'm having breakfast from McDonald's the High C Orange because it's not carbonated, so I feel like I'm having like a nice juice.
Yeah,
It's sugar. but
yeah,
it's
yeah,
fine.
yeah.
Sometimes I do agree. Sometimes like a good like cold soda when you're hungover.
Oh, yeah.
a
That'll
crisp ass fucking
yeah.
soda.
Yeah.
Riles you back
Yeah.
up, and then you smash a couple hash browns and a sausage, egg, and cheese, and then you fall back asleep.
Yeah.
And
then
you wake up
and you feel
sweating, and you're
20
like, I'm
times
gonna
worse.
have diarrhea for the next 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a move right there.
And then you watch horror movies all day.
Sounds like my favorite Sunday. It's usually ruined by someone calling me and be like, do you want to go out and get drinks? I'm like, what? Now I have to? I'd rather just lay here and eat fucking fast food all day. But okay, I guess I'll
Get
go.
drunk again.
I guess I'll call and cancel my Jersey Mike sucking fuck box.
Yeah, I just DoorDashed 8 subs.
Oh, God. All right. Well, that's what I got for news, guys, unless there's anything else that we missed. We good? Yeah. All right. All right. So why don't we take a quick 90-second break here to get a word from our sponsors. We'll be right back to talk about an Andrew pick.
It's official. The critics' decision is in. Spooky World is spectacular. Enter the new black hole. If you dare. Or the new horror House of Wax. This year, don't miss the real Jason, Bobby Pickett, or Alice Cooper. Phone the 24-hour Spooky World hotline. 508-838-0200. That's 508-838-0200. Spooky World is just west of Boston and haunts every night from October 1st till November 1st. If you had the nerve, you'd phone 508-838-0200.
It's America's horror theme park, Spooky World.
Sleepy Clovers.
Alive! It's alive! It's alive!
The new face of evil is going to scare you to death. Barrett's Haunted Mansion. It's killer this year. Then be next door to the Abington Ale House. Barrett's Haunted Mansion. Eat, drink, and be scary. Go to bhmansion.com.
All right. We're back. And oh boy, this is an Andrew pick, I think, if we've ever had one here tonight.
Is it the Andrewist?
It might be the most Andrewist Andrew pick.
Nightbreed is pretty Andrew.
Nightbreed is way
Andrew.
more Andrew. Come True is way more Andrew.
Come True is very Andrew. I forgot we talked about that one. Yeah.
This is Andrew, but
Yeah. This is definitely one that Andrew has been clamoring for quite a
it's
while.
a fucking classic.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when you hear the title of this movie, it almost seems like it should be a joke, but I feel like it's a movie that takes itself like pretty seriously for considering
It's a crazy
considering the
name.
subject
Dude,
movie.
Butcher
Yeah.
Baker, Butthole Taker. It's
Butcher
fucking-
Baker, Nightmare Maker.
that's what it
Yes,
is.
it is in fact Butcher Baker, Nightmare Maker.
What was the
Uh,
original? There was a different name,
Also, it was originally known as Night Warning.
which is terrible.
Yeah, I was saying,
That's-
what title do you like better? You like Butcher Baker, Nightmare
Butcher
Maker?
Baker, Nightmare
Yeah.
Maker.
Which doesn't even make sense, but
Yeah.
it's still.
Yeah,
Neither title
well,
makes
she's
sense.
a butcher, she's a baker, and she's a nightmare
I guess.
I guess that's true.
because she
Yeah.
does butcher. She bakes him a cake,
True. And
and
she, I guess
she
the stuff she does is nightmare.
is a
music.
nightmare.
Yeah.
Like she's a nightmare.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you've never heard of Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker, it is a 1981 American exploitation horror film directed by William Asher, starring Susan Tyrrell, Jimmy McNichol, Julia Duffy, Bo Svensson, and Bill Paxton. And the plot follows an orphan teenager who finds himself being dominated by his aunt, who's hell-bent on keeping him with her at all costs. it's a very loose plot description, but I feel like if you haven't seen this movie, definitely need to watch this and come back and listen to us. This is streaming on Shudder right now because, of course, it is. I feel like this has
been streaming on Shudder. I feel like for like the past 5 years.
It's probably on Tubi as well.
I think I looked it up and it wasn't. I think it's only on Shudder right now.
It is kind of a niche.
Yeah, I feel like it has been on Shudder for quite a while because I remember you saying that it was around the time that you watched Grizzly 2, The Revenge, and you were like, I watched Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker. We should definitely do a podcast of that. And I was like, yeah, okay, sure. And here we are.
And then you watched and you went, yeah, this movie's a fucking classic gem. I mean, the first 10 minutes of that movie are incredible.
Yeah, it's definitely
tough to get past the opening scene. The biggest thing I have to take away from the opening scene is the fact that they're driving. Keep in mind, like, nothing else matters. They're driving a car, and I'm pretty sure in the back seat they have like a rack for clothing just in the back, like hanging up their clothes. I'm like, what are you? Is this your closet? Like, what are you doing? I was like, why do you have 17 suits and like your ties hanging in the back of your car?
Get a suitcase.
Yeah.
So was that like a thing?
So where were they going? They were traveling.
They were going to hell.
Yeah, no, I know, but like
where they went.
I think
what was the
place
purpose
in
of their
Arizona.
trip?
They were looking to find. I think they were just going to the like grocery store, and then they just like crashed. They're like, we're bringing our suits and our ties, and we're gonna go find a Trader Joe's. And they were looking for like the first Trader Joe's that had never existed.
They're just scaling the side of this ravine on a small road,
going 9,000 like. That scene is so good.
Yeah, definitely has been. I feel like has influenced scenes in several other horror movies. I think mainly of The Descent. There's a kill very similar to it, and I think there was something else that we mentioned too besides The Descent. There's another.
Inside has one.
Inside,
Final Destination.
Final Destination, I'm sure was
but
inspired
this
by that.
comically is way better. Than
for sure.
This is meant to be funny.
Yeah,
it takes them a minute to realize the brakes are cut.
It takes them a long minute, like.
Like, yeah.
And I think you could have just crashed into like a wall or something.
Throw that thing in park.
Yeah. Don't just go smashing, careening down a mountain.
So basically, the scene we're referring to, I mentioned.
Someone throws a banana. People like,
whoa! We mentioned that the plot features an orphaned teenage boy, and that is how the teenage boy becomes orphaned and finds himself in the care of his crazy aunt. Basically, because his parents. His father is decapitated by a pipe coming off a truck, and then the truck goes over the side of a ravine and just explodes.
Meanwhile, this kid is like the Caitlin Clark of like high school basketball. He's draining shots.
Yeah.
He's got a nice limp wrist. He's very good.
Good basketball player, for sure. But anyway, so we're getting ahead of ourselves here, Andrew. So obviously you picked this movie. Why'd you pick it? What do you think? And talk to us about Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker, man.
I picked this movie because it's out of control on so many levels. It's everything you want in like a 70s style horror movie. Like, it's so ridiculous. And there's scenes that are just so memorable. And let's not forget, the acting in this movie is actually pretty fucking good. Like, Wendy Terrell kills it.
Did she play the aunt?
Yeah, she absolutely is. She's like
Susan Tyrrell.
Susan Tyrrell. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I said Wendy Terrell.
Yes.
So someone would clean windows for her. Susan Terrell. Wendy Terrell, Susan Terrell, same person. Doesn't make a difference. They're both very completely different people. But she plays it so well. She's like Anthony Perkins.
Yeah.
Like level.
So.
Like
this reminded me of Psycho 2.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen Psycho 2.
I have not seen.
It reminds me a lot of Psycho 2.
Dude, when she at the end, like she's like chopped off all her hair. And she's like feeding him milk,
some sort of milk.
Like that's been done to people have been kept sick. Like, this is like a thing.
It's like Munchausen by proxy. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, it turns out that the little boy that is in the care of his aunt isn't exactly the most.
He's like
stable
18.
person,
he's not a little boy,
and may not even be his aunt. But I mean, this movie came out in 1981.
There's no spoiler.
There's no spoiler for
if you haven't seen this movie.
Maker.
Even if we're spoiling this movie, that has the movie.
I'm assuming if you're
irrelevant.
If you're listening to this, if you're listening to this episode and you clicked on this knowing what the movie is, you've probably seen it. I don't think anyone's going out of their way to seek out Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker and
Nightmare movie.
They're like, oh, what the? Imagine if we get like a bunch of people be like, oh, what the fuck? You spoiled it in the first like 10 minutes. Like, dude, really? Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker? Come on, man.
Like we could have just made this whole movie up.
Right? It's like
that would be like spoiling
like,
the other movie I wanted to, Eaten Alive. That'd be like spoiling that movie. The one with
The guy that like owns a hotel and he has like a crocodile in there and he just like pushes people into it and feeds the crocodile people.
This is a 70s movie?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
It's got what's his name? Freddy Krueger, isn't it?
Oh, Robert Englund.
Oh, England.
Yeah, he's in it. He's an
Okay.
asshole. Just like a punk kid.
Freddy Krueger. All right, so yeah,
That's what's up.
so
It's a great
Andrew,
movie.
would you consider this to be like a favorite of yours? You think
This is just a very like is it one of my favorite horror movies? No. Is it one of my favorite like corny, cheesy, fun, ridiculous movies to watch?
Yeah.
Like if I'm gonna watch like I want to this is one of those movies where I want to like someone's like, I don't really want to pay attention.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay any attention.
Yeah.
You can just watch this and then go, what the fuck are we watching? And I'll
Yeah.
go, you're watching a classic.
Yeah.
It's so good. Like
Yeah.
Bo Svensson kills it.
Yeah,
as
he's
the-
good.
as the detective.
That's a very
What
problematic,
an asshole.
Yeah, dude,
homophobic.
What a
asshole.
fucking asshole that guy is.
Jesus Christ.
Like
So I would say this
That
is
dude is
definitely
crazy.
He's out of his
he's
mind.
insane.
He's obsessed
Just
with this
insane.
kid being
Yeah.
gay.
Right? It's like, oh my god.
I'm willing to actually bet that he's gay.
Yeah.
The character?
Oh yeah,
Probably.
Bo Svensson's
Yeah.
character is definitely gay.
Yeah. I just think this is definitely one of those movies. Like, yeah, it's not an all-time classic for sure. This is a good deep cut to recommend to somebody if they're
Yeah.
looking for like a good, like cheesy,
80s.
like 80s
It
movie.
is an
that'll-
exploitation.
exploitation film. It'll give you some
Exploitation.
exploitation. It'll give you some gore. It'll give you some good practical effects, some
Give
good
you some
kills.
uncomfortable
a
scenes.
good like kind
Sure.
of like mystery on
Yeah,
the
it's
like
like
it
a
kind of
little-
does unravel as it goes.
It almost kind of like it feels like almost like a like obviously the violence is way over the top, but it feels like almost like the plot of like a Lifetime movie, like type thing,
Kind of,
you know,
yeah.
like. But yeah, there's some intrigue, some mystery, some drama,
The
some
awful
violence.
neighbors that always just pop by,
Oh,
and you're
yeah,
like, "Oh
dude,
my
worst.
god, shut up!"
There's
Get
a little
outta
bit
here.
of nudity, as
Some nips,
as
plenty of
is,
nips.
as is wont to do in a lot of 80s horror movies. So you get some of that. And you get a very early in his career, Bill Paxton, who apparently was at one point considered for the lead role in this.
The titular role?
The titular role.
Yeah, big tits.
But he apparently was not. This was one of his first roles. He was not famous enough to be given the lead role of this movie, I guess.
Oh,
the
other
other
guy
guy
was?
was.
So
Like, who's the
apparently,
other
so
guy?
I actually, when I read that, I was kind of confused
What
too.
does that mean?
So like, okay, so Jimmy McNichol plays Billy Lynch. So he no longer acts, but apparently
Strange
he
picture.
was like, yeah, it's a very weird picture of him that I'm looking at, like a weird headshot. It's like shirt's
cat.
open, and he's got his hair like flowing, and he's like on an ocean front. Apparently he was like a teen idol in the 70s. Let's see, what was I've never even heard of this guy before though. He's only been in like 3, 6, 9, like he's only been in 10 films. He pretty much did not act from 1991 until like 2012. So he kind of retired from acting for a while, did some music, did a lot of TV. Oh, he was in Little
What was
House on the
the,
Prairie, Gunsmoke.
Yeah, it was
Random
famous
question:
shows.
what was that movie, or was it like an episode where the teenage boy was being kept at home by his mother because she knew that when he turned 18, he was going to turn to the devil. He was like keeping like his fingernail clippings underneath the bed, and there was like she like gave him his birthday cake, and he like turned into the devil on his birthday. He was like getting sick of her. What
Was this like an anthology show?
Yeah,
I don't
Well,
know.
I don't know.
Definitely not. I don't think it was Tales
Was it
from the Crypt.
recent?
I feel like I watched this recently, and I
Is
keep
it a creep show episode? Doesn't ring a bell for Creep Show.
Or what is it? Channel Zero?
Channel Zero, but Channel Zero, it's like the whole season is one plot.
Because this kind of reminded me of that. Like the mom didn't want to let him go. Like you have to stay here, and she was like overbearing, and he was just like having all these weird things. I'm sorry, I don't know why this. Shut the fuck up. I was looking this up. I was trying to look it up, and what was it? It was it gave me this vibes though. Like his mom was like, "You're not leaving. I'm not letting anything bad happen to you." And he basically was like, just turning. She knew he was going to turn into the devil, and he did because his dad was the devil. What was that?
I don't know. Maybe
Yeah, I don't
it'll
know.
come to you. We can look it up, try and figure it out.
It was pretty good. It might have
Yeah.
been part of an anthology or something. It seems like that's what it was.
It wasn't Satanic Hispanics. Was it?
No, because I haven't watched that. I never
Oh,
watched it.
okay.
Oh, you didn't see that?
No, I wasn't on for
Very
that
good.
episode. I was see.
Oh yeah, you were all fucked up.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay, fair enough. So yeah, I would say this is definitely like if you're like an '80s horror completionist, this is definitely one that you should see.
What a thing to be a
for
completionist
sure.
of.
Yeah, right, for sure. Was this featured in what had to have been in one of the In Search of Darkness movies, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, it was the first one probably.
If not, definitely the second one.
It had to be the opening scene, right?
Yeah, they just kind of go through all
Yeah, they just run through like
okay.
everything in detail. And actually, so I know parts 2 and 3 of that are streaming on Shudder right now. The first one is not. I want to go back and watch all those again.
I
'Cause
have
They just
all
came out
three
with
of them.
that. They just came out with that coffee table book. A coffee table book
want
about
that.
coffee tables and horror movies.
Yeah, I want that.
Yeah, I did. It's like fucking like $80.
I bet.
Yeah.
But whatever.
It's probably pretty cool. Yeah, I'd
But it's
check
a
it.
coffee table book.
Yeah.
It's a coffee table book in the vein of that, and the people who made the In Search of Darkness documentaries made the book about
And it's
it.
like
so
more. It's stuff that's not in the movie too. It's
Yeah.
like more stuff.
yeah, which is awesome.
Jesus.
So fucking insane. Anyway, Matt. So I digress. What did you think of Butcher Baker, Nightmare Maker, Montfrere?
This is a fun one. I heard about this on the Colors of the Dark podcast. Rebecca McHenry was like
Yeah.
kind of going in about it a couple years ago.
Yep.
And it was like one of those ones that was like, oh, like it's a deep cut, blah, 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 like just a super over the top crazy movie. And I had watched it and been like, okay, yeah, I get it. Like this is pretty wacky. But I was glad once Andrew mentioned it one day, being like, oh, we should do this on the show. I was like, oh, that'd be fucking hilarious. Like,
Yeah.
because it is such a ridiculous movie. So I was excited to give it a rewatch because I haven't watched it in a while.
I feel like when you name a movie Butcher Baker, Nightmare Maker, you're automatically like setting yourself up for people not to take it seriously,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
It's-
and again, this is like an 80s deep cut like slasher, so I don't think that they were necessarily trying. But I mean, it is a pretty serious in tone.
And
Like,
it's a pretty,
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
not
pretty
that
in-depth
ridiculous.
story.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of layers to this movie. Like let's not overlook the fact that this story really goes deep.
Yeah.
Like it seems like a stupid premise.
Yeah,
There's
a
actually
good-
there's a
some
lot
good
of shit
turns.
going on in
Yeah.
this.
and there's actually a lot of like if you look this movie up, there's a lot of stuff. If you like want to research like why this is kind of considered to be an influential deep cut, there's a lot of like kind of progressive stuff going on for a movie that came
Yeah,
out like pretty
definitely.
early on in the 80s. Like mainly, we talked about Bo Svensson's character. His name is Detective Joe Carlson. He's a Vietnam vet and a raging homophobe, and it is very uncomfortable most of the scenes that he's in. Basically, the genesis of the plot kicks off when so Cheryl, Billy's aunt, comes onto a TV repairman just trying to get a little bit of dick, trying to get laid.
Just
does
a little
not,
bit of that.
does not go her way because it turns out that that man is gay and happens to be in a relationship with Billy's basketball coach. And she kills this guy. I forget the repairman's name. But anyway, she makes it out to be that this guy was trying to rape her, when in fact he was not. She kills this guy, and Detective Carlson involves himself in the story and thinks that there is a love triangle going on between Billy's character,
Yeah, 'cause
Coach
he shows
Tom.
up like kind of like
Yeah,
right at the worst time.
Right.
And people catch him like holding the knife and
right.
they think that he did it and she's
Yeah.
covering for him. So it's messy.
So it basically leads to this whole plot where Detective Carlson is consumed by the fact that he thinks this was a love triangle gone wrong, and that
Yeah.
Billy killed this guy, and that he's gay when Billy is
The
not in
basketball
fact gay.
coach.
But it was actually kind of reassessed and praised in later years because the coach actually ends up being a pretty heroic figure, which was not done a lot for gay characters back
Mhm.
in that time frame. I feel like that's a huge
It's
aspect.
extremely like I hate the word, but it was very woke for its time.
Yeah.
Like it was extreme.
Yeah.
Like these aren't subjects
he-
that you touch upon in movies back then.
There were no stereotypes
No.
with his character
No.
either. Like, you know what I
Nope,
mean?
just
Like
a normal guy.
The coach was awesome, and I feel like I've seen it. And I was talking about, I was like, "What have I seen him in?" He looks very familiar.
I
But-
forget.
I don't know.
Sure, we can look it up.
Yeah, I can find it.
That guy.
Steve Easton is his name.
The coach?
the actor, plays Coach Tom.
Actor.
Let me see. He was in Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
Mm.
He
That's
was
another one of the
in,
same kind of.
Austin Powers.
Who was he in Austin?
The Spy Who Shagged Me. Is that the second one? That's the second one.
Yeah.
You know who he is? He's the umpire.
Oh,
in the
Dick
baseball.
Johnson.
Yeah, Dick, that guy.
Killers of the Flower
that-
Moon.
That's super.
That's what it was. Yeah, I remember you telling me he was in Killers of the Flower Moon.
Johnson.
He's definitely been,
John-
he's been in a bunch of stuff. Oh, he was in an episode of the X-Files. Okay, cool. So he's been in a bunch of stuff. Yeah, he's kind of like a career character actor.
Side character,
A lot
yeah.
of TV credits, a lot of movie credits also. So good for Steve Easton, who I think is still around and kicking, playing Coach Tom Landers, who actually is the hero at the end. So that definitely was a huge aspect of this movie. I feel like there's a lot of like really in-depth stuff. If you want to read more about like the deeper meanings of this movie, like a lot of people saying it's inspired by Oedipus because this is in fact turns out that Aunt Cheryl, is in fact Billy's mother.
No, he is. That's a fact. That's not even this.
No, is in fact Billy's mother, but essentially wants to have sex with him.
She's real fucking weird. She wants to fuck him real bad. It's very uncomfortable. It makes me very uncomfortable. I was like, oh.
Yeah. And this is one of those movies that does like, it's like the inversion on the final girl thing, because there's not a final girl. The girl is the villain, Cheryl, and Billy is the final boy, essentially.
And his girlfriend gets murdered, right?
Yep.
She's done.
Yep, she's dead.
Everybody pretty much dies that tries to help him except for the coach.
Yeah. And it's also like, it also has, based on what I saw, a lot of, influence or took a lot of influence from some of the hagsploitation films that came out in years past. Specifically, Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. That was one that I kept seeing come up when researching this movie and, inspirations for it. So yeah, definitely a lot going on here for a little, some would say disposable 80s exploitation slasher film, which I thought kind of made it that much more interesting, So yeah. Good pick, Andrew. Solid pick.
Yeah, it's not disposable.
Something different.
Don't dispose of this movie.
No, I'm not saying you would
dispose.
No, I'm not saying like disposable in terms of like bad in quality. I was saying like people would think of it that way. That's kind of what
It's extremely
meant
underrated
to say.
It's layers. It's like an onion.
Yeah,
a lot of layers.
A lot of layers to this movie.
Yeah, I think it does like get overlooked because of its name.
It's a silly.
You're just like, what the fuck?
And like you watch the first 10 minutes, and you go, "What the fuck am I watching?"
Yeah.
Yeah. It definitely kicks you in the dick from first frame and kind of just goes pedal to the floor the rest of the movie. Yeah, pedal to the dick. I guess this was also based on a book too.
What was the name of the book?
Let me see. Book released around the same time was actually called Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker, according to what I see here, which is I feel like I would have. I feel like that's going to be floating around probably on eBay somewhere. You can probably find it, but
I feel like that's like one of those like $3.99 paperback books.
You guys should read that or listen to it.
Right? I wonder if there's an audiobook of Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker.
Really?
Apparently, one of the biggest differences is that they actually obviously we talked about the scene with Billy's parents getting killed. That's the opening scene of the movie. In the book, it actually is not like so. It's revealed that his parents are dead early in the book, but they don't reveal how it happened until later. Do you guys think that it would have been a better decision to have that same way in the movie? Maybe leave it a little bit more suspenseful?
I think they opened this movie the way that you were immediately drawn in with this movie.
Yeah.
What the fuck am I watching? like for that type of movie, you don't need to get fucking cute. Like just get wild.
I think it would have packed more of a punch.
Probably would have. It would have made
find out that she killed them.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I agree. I kind of agree with you.
Well, did they give you away that she cut the brakes right at the beginning?
I mean,
kind of.
It's certainly implied, and then
I just assume that that's the case.
They certainly don't go out of the way to not make her look psychotic from the get-go.
Also, how does it take that long to test your brakes? You didn't use your brakes once,
right? One time.
You had to stop once, like leaving your driveway. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, so like that's what
I mean. Also, again,
I know, like that's
movie.
Brakes being cut obviously is like a plot device in several movies. Like, I wonder, like, can you like partially cut a brake line and then it just erodes more?
If I was driving a vehicle and someone cut my brakes,
I
would be like, I'm just going to crash into this tree over here real fast. I'm not going to go bombing 1,000 miles an hour down some road and be like, I'm not even going to try. I'm not going to try. You just turn up, flipped up. There it is, over. I figured it out. I might die, but I have a better chance of living than if I go 1,000 miles an hour careening down a mountain into a tree.
Oh, what the fuck? That was a really good from you. We haven't gotten one of those in a while. Shit! God damn it! This ever happened to you?
This ever happened to you? Someone cuts your brakes, you're going down a mountain fast as fuck. You don't know what to stop. You can't stop, so you smash into a tree.
Turbo team. No, you're not part of the turbo team. Get out of here.
This ever happened to you? Someone they replace your toilet.
It's ever
with
happened
a
to you?
fake toilet. You can't even take a shit in that toilet. The hole's too small.
Replaced it with a pee toilet.
And then you see the receipt in the fucking basket. They bought a new toilet. I said, it's turbo time. You can't.
You're not part of the turbo
team. Just go in
Oh,
and out,
wow.
and in and out of your bathroom,
Well,
just taking
hopefully-
shits.
Hopefully, if you're listening to this episode, you also are a fan of I Think You Should Leave. Otherwise, you probably have no idea what the fuck we're talking about. I think we're just spazzing out here.
we are. We're stimming. We're stimming.
Stimming, baby. Oh, God. What did I had this written down here. I thought this was pretty interesting. So the cinematographer for the opening car crash scene was a guy named Jean de Bont. I believe he is French.
Jean de Bont.
That name ring a bell to either of you gentlemen? It should. He went on to direct Speed and Speed 2, starring Keanu Reeves.
That makes perfect sense. He loves
Speaking
speed.
of vehicles that can't stop.
Out of control.
The bus was
Out of control. Dude, he loves vehicles that can't stop. He loves vehicles that can't stop.
He loves them so much that he doesn't make just one movie about it. He makes
Two. Well,
Speed-
Speed
it is
2 was
funny that
Speed
Speed
2,
2
cruise control.
that was a
about
boat.
It was
Yeah.
a boat.
a boat. That was like the boat that
Yeah.
You got
smashed
open
into
water,
there,
brother.
Right? There's a bridge
Yeah,
right
it's
there.
about a
Just
boat-
smash
A boat
into
that
it.
hit the Baltimore Bridge.
Yeah. Sandra Bullock ruining everyone's day.
Imagine like the shitty luck that you would have if you found yourself in two separate situations where you couldn't, or on a vehicle that could not stop.
Maybe you were just too good looking because I think Keanu
Yeah.
Reeves was on that because he was too good looking.
Keanu Reeves was a stud in those
Oh,
movies.
better. He was. That was
Yeah.
like Point Break
Yep.
level.
Oh,
Keanu
yeah.
Reeves
Great
when he was
movie,
just.
You want
me to
be in the FBI?
What, dude?
I'm only a surf boy.
I love Point
They're
Break.
making,
I can't hate.
they're making a new Point Break.
They already
Yeah.
did remake it a couple of years ago.
Oh,
They're
there's
making
another
it
one.
again.
It's like Point Break, Johnny Daytona or whatever.
Break
hold on.
Point 2.
Side note: while we're talking about cheesy
Roadhouse?
'80s movies and speed
Roadhead?
movies, apparently that Roadhouse remake is supposed to be kind of good. The one
Oh,
with
is it?
Jake Gyllenhaal and Conor
And he's
McGregor
just like, he's a fighting leprechaun the whole time. Yeah, I've heard about
dancing
that.
around. Oh my
He's
god,
the fucking worst. I hate that guy so much. And I hope he punches me in the face. I'll sue him.
his act is worn thin for me for sure. But I kind of want to check that movie out. Anyway, so John DeBont also directed Twister, which I know is one of Cat's favorites,
And we got Twisters coming out.
yeah,
this year.
Twisters, and then he also directed the Haunting remake with Liam Neeson and
hate that
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Oh, that movie's-
That movie smells.
It's very boring.
Is that the one with Owen Wilson?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
awful.
Not a great film.
Wow.
Not a great.
I like the
film.
redhead in the
really
movie. She's
hot.
kind of hot. Wow.
Wow.
Your
I mean,
tits hanging out of your shirt.
Wow. I mean,
Wow, there's a
I'm-
lot of ghosts
wait,
in
so
this
a whole. You're telling me a whole night in this house? I don't know.
Are you telling me that? Are you telling me that? Wow. Are you saying that like Vincent Price used to wow?
You mean the door was bending inwards?
Man, we are.
Wow. I thought I could push outwards on that door. Wow. They told me I was like, wow, it goes both ways. I was here last week. Wow, that door.
Must have to open one before the other.
That was me when I opened the door and I got bruised. I pulled a muscle and it hurt really bad.
You mean to tell me one day I'll get offered the role of Lightning McQueen? Wow. Let's do it, I say. Oh, hey, that's Owen Wilson for you. Owen Wilson stopped into the podcast. How about that? With three different distinct voices.
And everyone's like, those were probably the worst. I thought it was pretty good.
I thought it was
Pretty good. Not too bad. Not
No,
as
they
good
were.
as,
It was funny. I don't know how good the impression.
not as good as
but it's
Andrew's Al Pacino.
Whoa!
Oh,
I don't know about that.
I can't even do it.
that was honestly one of the hardest times I've laughed on the podcast in recent memory. That was so fun. Oh, all right. So the role of Julia, who was Billy's girlfriend, went to Julia Duffy. At the time of shooting this movie, she was 10 years older than
I thought
Billy
you said
Lynch.
she was-
She was in her 30s.
I thought you were gonna say she was 10 years old. And I was like,
No,
fuck.
no,
They
no.
showed her tits.
No,
She was
10 years
old. What the
older.
fuck is going on?
than Jimmy McNichol at the time.
P. Diddy, her like press release person? Like, fuck.
Pete Diddy, yeah,
George
Diddy.
for Dan
Yeah.
Schneider.
Dan Schneider. Oh
We
my
were
god,
Dan
dude.
Schneider.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch that?
No, not yet.
I watched
will.
enough of that. I don't need to see anymore. To talk about horror, I can't.
I did see something about that apparently they did like a gotcha thing with Mark Summers and he wasn't happy about it. He like walked off the set in the middle of the interview because they pitched like the documentary was going to be about something else, and then they were like, "Hey, did you know all this rapey shit was happening on Nickelodeon?"
Oh,
And he was like, "What?"
don't
Like,
besmirch Mark Summers though. Mark
I love
Summers
Mark
is
Summers.
a
Was he the
national
news guy?
treasure.
He was,
He
the
was
guy
on
that
the
hosted Double Dare.
Double Dare.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And like the Unwrapped,
Unwrapped on the Food
And then he
Network.
did, like-
not to be confused with Dan Schneider's Unwrapped, which was like his unwrapped
Yeah.
condom.
Oh my
That's-
He actually didn't end up
impregnated other
He
people.
actually didn't do any sexual assault. He was
Oh,
just
Dan
dick.
Schneider.
Yeah. He was just
debatable.
kind of-
He might have impregnated Amanda Bynes or Jamie
Oh.
Lynn Spears.
Oh.
Have you seen her? Her
They
kid?
don't talk about
Have
that.
you?
often.
No, but look at Jamie Lynn Spears'
Just looks
child.
exactly
It
like Dan
looks like
Schneider.
Dan Schneider, and I'm like, oh my god.
Oh, the hair.
Not to
Yeah, it turns out Dan Snyder was not a great guy.
just
No,
shouldn't have
but there
been
was
working
other
with
people
him.
on it that
it's
were
the
like
fucking
full-blown
eyes.
raving
It's like,
kids.
yeah.
it's
I'm like,
gross.
oh my
Fucking
god.
disgusting. But anyway, so the role of Julie, or did I say Julie or Julia, whatever it is. So Billy's girlfriend also auditioned for the role. Ali Sheedy from The Breakfast Club
Okay.
and
Oh,
Daryl
interesting.
Hannah. Ali Sheedy would have been a weird choice, but kind
Which
of
one
cool.
was she?
She was the like the weird girl in Breakfast Club.
Okay.
The one that like made like the cereal and pixie dust, like the pixie stick sandwich.
I don't remember. I haven't watched that movie in a long
I
time.
love
I'm trying to
Breakfast
just
Club.
like think
So
of the
good.
poster in my head.
Yeah. Yep. And then Bo Svensson. Let's talk about Bo Svensson.
He's a problem. That
little
guy's a
bit more.
fucking menace.
Yeah, he's a menace. He is a problem in this movie for sure. He's just, yeah, he really is just wears it very much on his sleeve how much he does not like gay people, which is yeah, definitely makes it a little bit for an uncomfortable viewing experience at certain points. You're like,
The whole
"My
scene
God,
with him
man."
and the basketball scene.
The
where he's playing
basketball scene with
basketball,
him, that is
make sure you
just
keep
like,
your wrist
yeah,
limp.
yeah.
You shouldn't have a problem with that. Jesus
Like, oh my
Christ.
God,
Yeah, damn, dude.
Jesus, dude.
It's like you're talking to a child and you're like a 40-year-old man.
I had
What
to
an
like because
asshole.
that's like kind of before he really gets going with his whole like thing. But when he said that, I like was like, that can't be what he means. Like, it
actually-
must
nope,
be some
nope.
weird '80s thing that I don't know.
Nope, that's
about.
what he means.
Yeah.
Am I missing something here?
Like, wow, he
I
went there, huh?
don't know. He's just that guy.
Oh God! But apparently, so he actually, the actor Bo Svensson, did get injured filming his death scene. There was they used apparently to simulate a gunshot wound. They use a thing called an exploding squib, which basically squirts out blood and makes it look like he got shot. And the explosive blew into Bo Svensson's stomach instead of outward, resulting in a painful burn for one Bo Svensson. So. Not a great experience for Mr. Svensson.
The squib, which was first used in Cast of Iron,
Yes.
a movie by Sam Peckinpah, who would go on to direct Straw Dogs.
Straw Dogs, the original.
Straw Dogs, baby.
Sam Peckinpah. Cast of Iron's a fucking
I
gnarly
haven't
war
seen,
movie.
I haven't seen Cast.
Yeah, I haven't either. No. Cool. So, as we mentioned, Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker came out in 1981, which, as it turns out, is a year that we've covered a lot of films.
Mhm.
Good year for horror.
Yeah,
Pretty-
it's
pretty good.
banger year.
Pretty good. The movies that we have covered. So you can.
I know bang.
If you like the year 1981 in horror, you can go back to our back. You can go through our back catalog and listen to episodes on American Werewolf in London, The Evil Dead, Maniac, and Possession, which all came out in 1981.
Wow.
Covered all those movies. Gentlemen, we also got a duo of films from Lucio Fulci, The Beyond and The Black Cat. I know, Matt, you're an Italian horror completionist. You've probably seen both of those, right? Yep. All right.
They're
Also-
weird.
Go
Sorry, I didn't mean to
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
They're Lucio Fulci's movies, especially when he gets into those kind of like zombie-ish movies, like The
Yeah.
Beyond and Zombie and all those.
Yeah.
They don't really have a plot.
Yeah.
Like when you're watching them, they kind of just are
Wild.
sequences of gore happening.
Right.
Just fine.
But it's they're
Still
still
naked Italian women.
and like weird dubbing.
Yeah.
But they're still very entertaining somehow.
Zombie is the one with the nail in the eye, right?
The wooden,
Zombie.
With the
yeah,
splinter
when
in
the
the
zombie
eye.
fights the shark.
Yeah.
The shark.
Yeah.
Crazy shit.
Sounds good.
Movie's
What?
fucking sick, dude. The zombies are great too. Like
Yeah.
they're very much like rotted looking.
Yeah, some movie where the zombie fights that shark.
Yeah.
What?
It's in the beginning.
They certainly look more dead than like some of the Romero zombies
Yeah.
and other zombies. They look like they have decomposed.
Yeah.
For
Got, like
sure.
bugs coming out of their eye
Yeah.
sockets and stuff.
Yeah. Bugs.
Its heads are falling
Our
off.
pets' heads are falling off. We also got a Wes Craven movie in 1981 called Deadly Blessing. Have you guys seen that?
No.
I haven't either. We also got Friday the 13th Part 2 in 1981. We also got a Larry Cohen joint called Full Moon High, which I have not seen. We also got a really good movie from Tobe Hooper, The Funhouse.
Yeah.
I love that movie. Really, really good.
That's another very much like under the radar
Yeah,
kind of banger.
yeah. I feel like he's known mostly for Chainsaw Massacre and Poltergeist, and a lot of people don't know about a lot of his other films. And I would say if you're looking for more Tobe Hooper, check out The Funhouse. That movie's really good. It's really,
Yeah.
really interesting. We also got Ghost Story in 1981. That's a good flick.
I like that one too.
Me too.
I own all these.
Do you? All
Yeah,
of them?
most of them.
Look at you, Mr. Physical Media. All right. We also got Halloween 2. This was the one that takes place in the hospital immediately following the events of John Carpenter's Halloween. So definitely an okay sequel to Halloween, but obviously not as good as the first one. We also got a 1981 a movie called The Hand, which this piqued my interest. Directed by Oliver Stone, starring Michael Caine. Anyone seen this?
Never even heard of this movie.
I always go past
And
it.
it's a
on,
horror movie?
Tubi.
Horror movie. Yeah,
With
definitely
Michael
check
Caine
it
and
out.
Oliver Stone in a hand.
Yeah,
Is it like the
The
monkey
Hand?
hand?
I don't know.
monkey paw.
I just saw the title and the director and Michael Caine.
It
was
can't be that
it.
good because if that was good, we would have heard about it.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe it's a deep cut.
Those
It's just a
different-
deep cut. No,
I like deep cuts.
me too.
They cut deep.
We also got a 1981, the second great werewolf movie of the year in Joe Dante's The Howling. I love this movie.
Which one do you like better, The Howling or American Werewolf in London?
Probably American Werewolf, but it's not as far off as some people make it seem.
It's a very different movie.
Yeah, very dude. Howling is way darker, and I think American
The
Werewolf
movie I
is
recently
way
watched,
funnier.
which was pretty good, was Boys from County Hell. That was actually very good. It's a very similar. It's to just watch it. It's
Okay.
good. My brain's scrambled eggs right now, so
Scrambley's brain.
you'd like it. You'd like it. It's very different. It's a different take on it's like a werewolf movie, vampire / werewolf movie kind of
Okay,
thing.
all right.
More vampire-y. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
All right. Joe Dante, by the way, underrated director. Between
The
Howling,
Burbs.
The Burbs, Piranha. He also did
Grammys.
which one? Oh, Gremlins. Yep, he did one of the segments in the Twilight Zone movie. What was the movie that he did about 1950s horror sci-fi movies? It had John Goodman in it. It was called, I think it's called
West.
Matinee, maybe. I forget. I don't know. It'll come to me. But he did that movie too. That's really good. Burbs is underrated as fuck. Good movie.
The Burbs.
We also get 1981 My Bloody Valentine, another classic slasher there. We got The Omen Part 3, The Final Conflict,
Speaking of
which I
there's a
don't
new
think was
Omen
the Final
coming out.
Conflict.
I think it came out.
Is that out?
I think it
Soon.
either came out last Friday or it comes out next Friday.
The First Omen.
It's is that what it's called? The first.
The First Omen, yes.
Not to be confused with the second or
correct.
the third,
Mhm.
or perhaps the fourth.
Or to be confused with the original Omen, which
Omen.
technically was the first Omen. This is actually the first.
I have heard
Omen.
that Immaculate is much better than the first Omen.
I did see a review today on Bloody Disgusting, and they gave it 4 out of 5 stars.
I heard
And,
it. I
who's
heard
the
it's
ti-
fucking
who's the-
crazy.
Who's the titular character in that movie?
I don't actually know who's in that movie.
No, it's not
I just
Sydney
know that
Sweeney.
I know that the titular character in Immaculate is
That's what I was asking.
is Sydney Sweeney.
Yes.
Yes.
Emphasis on titular.
Titular. We also got, speaking of Joe Dante, we get a sequel to Piranha called Piranha 2, The Spawning, which I have not seen. We got The Prowler, Wolfen, and a David Cronenberg banger called Scanners. Which I think when it comes back around to my turn in a couple of weeks, I think I'm going to pick a Cronenberg movie. Because
His daughter's movie's coming out soon too.
Yeah, we have not covered a lot of Cronenberg.
I don't think we've covered any Cronenberg.
We haven't done any Cronenberg unless we've
Night
talked about him
Shift,
in drafts.
Nightbreed doesn't count.
He's in
He's in
that,
it, but it
yeah.
doesn't count.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about.
I know we've talked about this before, but we've done like 0 Cronenberg and we've done 0 George Romero aside from Creepshow. So I think we should rectify that this
We
year.
haven't done, I took him in a director draft. That's what
Yeah,
it is.
yeah. So obviously drafts are a different story. We've probably
Yeah.
talked briefly about some of the films from those two directors, but
We should do a just a Cronenberg episode, like every movie.
yeah.
'Cause his movies are fucking bangers.
Those are also movies with a lot of depth to them. We could probably spend
Yeah,
a
there's
lot
a
of
lot
time
of- there's a
talking
lot of
about,
stuff.
Yeah, so that was 1981 in horror. I also have here in front of me the box office numbers for 1981. Turns out it was also a very good year for movies in general. Number 1 movie at the box office for the year, 168 mil. Raiders of the Lost Ark. Little Indiana Jones there.
Nothing wrong with that.
Let's see. Actually, a lot of these movies. Top grossing horror movie of the year, by the way, in 1981, American Werewolf in London with $31 million. I think that is the Halloween 2, 25 mil. Graduation Day. It's a horror movie that I don't think I've heard of. Came out in 1981. Slasher. Yeah, maybe that's why.
I think that's got Biff in it.
Biff Tannen.
Yeah,
Mm.
I think Biff's in that.
Cool. So that's 1981 in horror and in film. Guys, anything else on Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker that we want to cover that we haven't talked about yet?
I got nothing.
Yeah, I think it's a fun little sneaky little 80s gem.
If you want to watch a little weird, fucking fun movie, check it out.
Absolutely.
And it's a quick watch too. It's like a half
Hour
hour
and
and a half.
40.
Yeah.
At most.
Definitely check this movie out. I mean, hey, if you have a
It's
if you
extremely. It's actually very well acted.
Yeah.
For how silly it is.
yes,
It's a very deep movie.
and
Watch
I mean,
it.
like,
Check it out.
dude,
It's got layers.
hey,
layers.
if
like
you're paying for a Shutter subscription,
you might as well
yeah.
see everything.
Watch
they have to
everything
offer.
that's on
Yeah,
it.
Fuck
yeah,
it.
watch that. That's why I
That's the worst
watched
thing
it.
that happens. You don't
Because
like
I was
the movie?
like, this movie looks ridiculous. I'm gonna watch this.
Honestly, I think Shutter, given the price of what it is per month, probably has some of the best content. It's probably one of the better streaming services out there.
It 100% is. It's way better than Apple.
For
Apple
paid-
Apple can
for paid
suck my
stuff,
fucking
yeah.
dick. Apple sucks.
Apple Plus,
And you
sucks.
go,
Yeah.
you purchase Apple, and then
you gotta buy all the movies.
and then you have to buy. I'm like,
Yeah.
what am I buying this for?
Yeah.
No.
Dude, the
I
app-
say
so,
no.
Yeah, Shutter has good content. The app is good. Dude, Paramount Plus has some cool stuff. The app sucks.
Shutter,
Peacock
HBO
sucks.
Max is good.
Yeah.
Shutter, Max,
Netflix is pretty good.
Netflix. I love Netflix.
Yeah, Hulu's pretty good.
Prime is great.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, that's obviously everything.
Yeah.
Hulu's all right.
Yeah, Hulu's. I like Hulu because it's got all the FX
And
stuff.
it's got what
I
we
like.
do in the shadows. So
It's got What We Do in the Shadows. It's got Always Sunny. It's got
Yeah.
Letterkenny. It's got like all kinds of good. It's got really good comedy stuff. And sometimes Hulu has a lot of interesting horror stuff on there too. Netflix's horror selection sucks. They
that's a
never have
false. That's
anything
a
good.
false statement, and I will stand on that. I will present you with 20 fantastic horror movies that Netflix has released, and I will
Okay.
tell you are wrong.
Okay. All right. All right.
The
Maybe that's-
Ritual, number one.
Well, the Ritual's obviously a very good movie. I don't mean I don't mean everything sucks, but a lot of their
They have a lot of underrated stuff. I
they're
think they
kinda
get.
lacking in some
No,
aspects.
they do
though.
lack, but they're also. I feel like everyone sleeps on them, and they don't even watch the movies that they come out with. Like El Conde was
Yeah.
fantastic.
Oh yeah. See, I still haven't seen
It
that.
was a great movie. I thought it
Where
was-
Netflix really excels is true crime. I know we've talked about that a lot.
Netflix
before.
has actually kind of a decent horror selection right now. I looked at it
does.
today. They
Yeah.
added a bunch of Nightmare on Elm Street movies. They have this movie called The Wailing,
Mhm.
which is a Korean horror
That- oh,
movie
yeah,
that's
that movie's very
fucking
good.
unbelievable.
Okay.
Mhm.
What else they added? They added just kind of a handful of stuff. I was like, oh, fucking all right.
They got a lot of random.
They woke up, dude. They
Random
were like,
movies.
all right, we gotta
Random
figure it
movies
out.
on there.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Maybe I'll delve back into Netflix and search some horror. That's fine.
Tubi is, I think,
believe
my
me,
favorite.
I hope to be wrong. And
Tubi's great
Tubi's-
because everything's free, and you can
But
watch.
they have
fucking
so
crazy.
well,
much
it's like
fucking
freebie.
stuff, dude.
Freebie's the same thing.
Tubi must steal so much of your personal data. I don't know how the fuck they
because they have ads.
There's
I
ads.
guess, but like it's
Like a lot of ads.
Yeah, you
how
watch
much
an ad
revenue do
every
they
like
make off
15
those
minutes.
ads.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of I know it's so the movies that I've watched on Tubi recently though, it doesn't feel like that jarring. Like yeah, there's ads, but it's like I don't think it's like that.
Their
Yeah, but
selection is like very,
There's
very
a lot
impressive,
of
dude.
stuff.
They have a lot of
Just 'cause of
extreme
ads.
horror movies
Yeah, they
too.
do.
Like they
Yeah,
have
there's a
some like
lot.
really hard to find shit.
I feel like most of the time, if you're looking for something, it's
I feel like I
probably on
watched
Tubi.
Martyrs
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
House of
Yeah, I
Jack
got
is
some.
on it.
Yeah, House Jack Built was on Tubi.
Auditions on there.
But if I'm gonna watch a
Mm.
movie, I'm like, I can't do. I'll just
I don't-
pay.
I don't
I'll pay
mind,
the
yeah.
$3
Yeah.
if it's just like a one-time watch.
Yeah. Rent it and just.
But
go
if I'm
for
just
it.
watching around and I just want to
Yeah.
watch a movie and I'm like, I'm not gonna rent it.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah,
watch it.
throw it on Tubi.
But they have a great like 80s like kind of like slop selection
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Matt, that was a good little professional tease that you did there. Do
Yes.
you want to give us a little bit of a preview about the movie that you'll be selecting for next week's episode?
Let's see. We will be doing Takashi Miike's Audition.
Yeah, buddy.
1999 Japanese
Still haven't seen that movie.
classic. You haven't?
I have not. seen that
Oh,
version.
boy. So listen,
Has it been spoiled for you? I know it's like pretty.
You can't spoil things for me. My brain
it's
is like
even
mush, I
even if
can't
you
remember
do
it.
like know like how it plays out, it doesn't really matter. It's still pretty intense, but just it's like kind of a slow burn.
That's fine. I
It
love
takes
slow
it
burns.
takes a little while to like get going, but it's worth being invested because they build the characters really well.
And that
Yeah.
is on.
It's on Tubi.
It's
Yeah.
another one on
Yeah.
Tube.
Yeah.
On the Tube.
And when it gets there, it's like
It might be on Shudder too.
It
But
might
it's-
be, yeah.
I know I watched it on Tubi yesterday. I also own it, but I was
Yeah.
being lazy.
all right. So audition next week on the heels.
and then we got a
of
mic pick after
Butcher
that.
Baker.
Do you know what we're
Nightmare
doing
Maker.
after that? We
Oh,
don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe we'll figure
You'll just have
it out
to tune in next week,
week.
to our audition episode so you can hear what Mike's going to pick next week. I don't think it'll be a worm movie. I can say that. I think it'll be a movie about
Snake movie.
about bugs in a certain way.
Maybe there'll be a new movie
Hmm.
that we can do.
Maybe it'll be something
Is
new.
it the classic David Arquette, Eight-Legged Freak?
Eight-legged freaks, or maybe David Cronenberg's The Fly. Who knows?
Haven't we done that?
No,
No,
we never
we still
talked. No,
haven't
we
done
never
that.
covered
We
Cronenberg.
still haven't done any
I know.
Cronenberg.
I know. All right, well, we'll figure all that out, but come back next week as we talk about Audition with all of you. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of America's Hometown Horror. My name is Mike, and I've been joined by my boys, Andrew and Matthew. Gentlemen, good evening to you, and good evening to all of our listeners, right? Yes, indeed, yes. All right, we'll talk to you next week. Bye.
Adios.
Hey everyone, it's Mike from America's Hometown Horror, and I want to say thanks again for listening to another episode of our show. If you're interested in more local Plymouth podcasts, I'd highly recommend you check out the shows from our friends over on the Inebriart Podcast Network. In addition to America's Hometown Horror, you can find shows from Inebriart, the Old Colony Cast, Bar Talk, Theme Park Legends, and Retro Redoctopus, so head on over and give them a listen.